Well, my husband, Edward, was always a very hard worker. I used to hear stories, and half the time I wouldn't believe them. The more time that I spent with him, the more I came to realize that when he told a story or his family told a story, it was always true from beginning to end. He started work at 9 years old. His father became ill, and he worked for the carnival. His father nearly died at that point, so Ed took a supporting role in his family. The reason he got that job so young was to buy school clothes for his sisters. He had two sisters. Because his father was ill at that point, Ed also learned how to become a handyman. He worked very well with his hands. He could fix anything. We would say, if Dad can't fix it, throw it in the garbage. Ed tinkered around with different jobs. I think that being a fireman was always in his blood. His mom told us a story of before he could speak well, he used to not be able to say TR. It would come out as an F. And in Olneyville, where he grew up, till the age of 9, the first time he saw a fire truck, he screamed at the top of his lungs running down the street, "Fire truck," without the TR. It was in '87 when Ed started in the Division of Forestry. And that's when I met him. It was actually '88 we met. And he loved being in forestry. Fought on the Western Fire Crew for probably 3 years and was instrumental in the Glacier and Yellowstone National wildfires. He met a good group of guys there and had lifelong friendships. From there, he went to Quonset on the Air National Guard base, the airport, and that was in 1991. It was a little different for him because it was, National Guard base, and he got to see a lot of cool things. President Bush had landed there, and different things. He was in charge of the planes, and he became assistant chief in 1991, I believe it was. So that was really a sense of pride for Ed. He made that position his own. There were a lot of problems internally because it was a state side and a federal side, and I think that Ed bridged the gap there. And I think that's the loss that his fire department feels. It's not easy for people to bring conflicting ideas together, and I feel like Ed did that. And he was a natural born leader that would hide that fact. Meeting him first impression, you wouldn't think so, but I knew Ed very well. And he used to say to me, and hopefully to his guys too, that just because I don't say anything doesn't mean I don't know anything. That's how I know he's a born leader. And those are the ideas that he's left with us, with me and my 16-year-old son. He's very proud of his dad, as am I. There were some other phrases that Ed would say too, and one of them was, "Don't mistake kindness for weakness." And I think in the fire service, kindness is very deep, and Ed understood that. He tried to explain it or, emulate those feelings, and I never understood it until his passing. So I tried to do the same thing, and that's how we honor him. Being part of the fire service as a family, Ed had two families. He had Zach and I, and his other two children from previous marriage, Eddie and Stephanie, who he loved very much. and they're still a big part of our lives. We're very close. That was Ed's family. That was his little corner of the world. He said he'd always try to save his little corner of the world. But his fire department and the Brotherhood was also his family. One I never understood. I've come to understand that they rely on each other for their lives, which is something that a regular family doesn't do. Regular family is there for support, but you're not counting on them to save your life. You know, that's a connection that no one would understand unless they're there. Or if they've lost a firefighter. If they're a family member of a fallen firefighter, they understand. I've had so much support, whether it be just a phone call. I have a lot of responsibilities at home. I chose to keep those responsibilities after my husband passed, but I've had to rely on his firefighter brothers to help me out. I've had a roof replaced. They've helped me maintain my pool. Anything. They offered to do my grass, which I felt I should probably do. So I never felt alone being part of the firefighter family. And I feel like that's going to last forever. I was a little concerned coming here this weekend too. It's been since 2013. When we landed, there was a sign with our last name banner and 5 or 6 firemen. And my anxiety just left. I knew I was safe. I knew I would be taken care of. And I think it's amazing and wonderful, and there are not many professions that have that kind of safety net for families. So we are so humbled and appreciative of everything that the fire service has given us. If there was one thing that I would like people to remember about Ed, it's that life is very short. You don't know what tomorrow brings. However you can get a little bit of peace, Ed would want that for all of us. Find your happy place and spend as much time there as you can.